Hey, hi guys. So this is our first recording as a recap. We were in Sunnyvale, California, attending the Plug and Play Summit. And there it is, Matthijs, our award. Can you explain a bit about it?
Yeah, so we were selected to receive the Corporate Innovation Award for AllianceBlock. I was very happy to receive it, very proud of it. It underlines that the work that we've been doing as AllianceBlock together with Plug and Play is being recognized, and the startups that we're meeting with are definitely helping us growing our ecosystem and learning from where the industry is going.
Yeah, cool. I think it's a really nice recognition of what we're doing with our ecosystem play. If you look back at the whole week, what's kind of the things that stick to your mind?
The funny thing is there is a lot of AI startups, and we could have actually predicted it. We've seen that OpenAI took the world by storm in the beginning of this year with ChatGPT, and with the developer ecosystem that they've created, they enable for any kind of startup to easily create something with regards to AI, leveraging the OpenAI SDKs, APIs.
If you look at all the pitches that you've seen, like you said, everything is AI. Did you actually see one that doesn't have AI in this pitch?
Actually, no. Even startups focusing on the field of HR, they do something with AI. Everything related to enterprises, everything related to blockchain, there is always some aspect of AI that they leverage. It's more than a hype, it's reality, and the ease of access to the developer ecosystem of large language models enable that all these startups can actually use AI. But what no one is talking about, I don't know if you notice as well, is where is this data coming from that all these AI startups need?
Well, actually, I noticed it was in one of the analyst presentations, is that one of the biggest issue is the lack of high quality data. And I think that was straight to the point because, like you mentioned, all these startups talking about AI, about how to apply these models to any given process, but nobody talks about where the data is coming from.
Exactly, and even more important, the data that's there, it's not properly contextualized. So if you want to feed, kind of structured data to large language models like ChatGPT, how can we ensure that this data is going to be properly understood? So we can have sufficient data, but we also need this data contextualized. And no one is speaking about that as well.
No, I think you're completely right. The other thing that I noticed was also really cool, I think that also the award is a representation of that, is that you also start to see like companies using and applying blockchain technology are not only in the crypto or digital assets vertical, but they're also in automotive, or they're in supply chain. So you actually see that the technology is also being adopted without directly being addressed to a digital asset or to crypto. So Matthijs, looking at all the startup pitches, especially in the digital asset space, I was kind of a bit surprised that there was not that much RWA, but a lot of DePIN. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Why is that?
Yeah, so DePIN, also known as decentralized physical infrastructure networks, is a growing industry, and we've seen from the partner of AllianceBlock, Peak Network, which is also focusing on providing the infrastructure for DePIN. We've seen a massive interest in use cases that leverage DePIN, for example, in the automotive industry, where hardware devices are created to collect data that can be used in other participants in that ecosystem. I think what is missing right now is a standardization of how to store this data, how to monetize this data. Everyone has their own solution, their own network, their own protocol, and it's normal. It's a growing industry, it's in its infancy, but we need to step in as Nuklai and come up with a standard approach which every DePIN infrastructure can leverage, so that every user that is participating in the DePIN industry with collecting data and monetizing this data is going to be actually fairly rewarded in a way that it's seamless between whatever kind of solution or use case that.
Hey, and one other question. We were there as well with Brilliant and with Nexera ID. My perception was that both of the pitches were perceived quite strong. Want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, actually, you're totally right. They gave really strong pitches, which were received very well. Both Yannick and Vanessa were able to conceive their story in a very understandable, nice way, given the short time frame that they got. And we've seen some proactivity from members in the audience that represent quite serious companies that express interest in both Brilliant and Nexera ID. So really interested to see where this is going.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that actually, so we've been discussing ecosystem for many years now, and I think this was a very nice way to actually show how ecosystems should work. As well as the discussions we had with Plug and Play as well. Also for next year, the open invitation is that everything that's been listed on Thunders is more than welcome to be pitching on stage with Plug and Play.
Absolutely. And don't forget, guys, this is Silicon Valley, and this is where it happens, right? The fact that the digital assets vertical, on which the cryptocurrency Web3 companies are residing under, are taken very seriously there. That means that Web3 solutions have a place in Silicon Valley, and we see that it's a growing interest, it's maturing. So I'm very, very happy to see and very excited about the next summit, which is probably somewhere in June or July next year, which we will for sure attend as well.
Last, what's your biggest takeaway from this summit?
My biggest takeaway is that AI is a growing industry. It's growing so rapidly. It reminds me about 2017 and 2020-21 growth that we've seen in the Web3 industry. Everyone was creating new tokens. Everyone is creating new AI startups. All these AI startups need massive amounts of data. All this data needs to be organized. It needs to be contextualized. So my biggest takeaway is that Nuklai can play a really large role in providing this data, organizing it well, so that all these AI solutions can be integrated in a way that makes sense and adds value to the ecosystem. Additionally to that, the hunger of data sharing networks or data sharing infrastructure is real. With random encounters, with enterprise corporations, we've seen that everyone in one way or another is working on data sharing solutions or data sharing problems that they are looking for solving. So we see that what we are working on is definitely something that's gonna make sense. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a very cool week at Plug and Play. Definitely gonna see more of recording from us. Looking forward to see you all next time.